Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, and welcome back to my Flosstube channel. If you're new, welcome. This is a channel where I talk about my cross stitch, and if you're returning, welcome back. This is going to be a Flosstube extra. This is a recap of everything I stitched on in the month of March. Okay, so what was I gonna say? I forget. So in the month of March, I did have one day that I missed that I didn't stitch at all. That was when I had the flu a couple weeks ago, and I slept for like 36 hours. So obviously I didn't do any stitching that day. But in the month of March, I did 23,201 stitches. My highest stitching day was March the 18th. I did 2,306 stitches. That was actually my highest day of the entire year so far. My lowest day obviously was the day I didn't stitch any, but the other day where I actually did stitch, my lowest stitch day was the 14th, the day before I got sick. I did 170 stitches on that day. Let's see, what else? I worked on 32 different projects in the month of March, and I finished 2 projects. So worked on 32, 2 of those were finishes. So let's show you the finishes first, and then we will go over what I worked on. First one up is the Friends frame. Let me scroll down to it. I'm using the cross stitch planner I got from Rainbow Sheet Studio on Etsy. So I'll be kind of scrolling up and down my list because my list is alphabetical. It's not sorted by stitch count. So first thing up is the Friends frame. So I just need to, this is the hoop it came in. And basically I just need to kind of pull this fabric back and put a backing on it, and it'll be an FFO. I just have not done that. Plus I have no backing fabric right now. But this was just a small little kit. Got it on clearance for like a couple bucks. I think my mom got it. And it came with, the fabric is printed, so it's white on that side. And because I had gotten a couple suggestions because the print for the pattern itself was off. It wasn't like appropriate on the squares, and so someone had suggested washing it, but I was worried about doing that because I didn't know if the pattern would wash out or if it would change the color of the purple since it's printed. But once I got the frame completed, I started looking at my DMC and realized that 3746 was a pretty close match to the color purple on the fabric. So I just did a line of 3746 around the edge of the frame. And in the month of March, I did 1,150 stitches on this to get this done. Total stitches on this year, this is not counting like because I think, did I start this in December? I think I don't remember. But in 2025, I did, hang on. Make sure I'm looking at the right amount. In 2025, I did 1,355 stitches on this to get this done. I think I did start this in December, and I did like maybe a couple hundred stitches on it. But I'm not digging up the old planner thing to find out what that stitch count was. We're not worried about that. Okay, next up is Calendar Girls February. This is from the Little House Needlework series from 2014. I want to get all of them done. I do have some of them done. They are at my mom's house right now. But this is February. And I did this with a called for DMC on a 32 count Legacy Lugana by Picture This Plus. And I did this two strands over 2 fabric threads. So 2 over 2 full cross. In the month of March, I did 1,023 stitches on this. And for the year, I started this in February. So total stitches was $1,549 to get this done. So I had said this in my Flosstube. I'm kind of trying to rotate through them, but I need a little bit of a break from them because I've been working on them pretty consistently. Like as soon as I finish one, I start another one pretty consistently for a few months, and I need a little bit of a break from them. So I'm going to rotate through a different series, which I'll show you in my update on Thursday. Today's Tuesday, by the way, April the 1st. I have no April Fool's joke for you because I'm a loser. I was like, oh, maybe I can like come on and say I'm quitting Flosstube. I don't even want to put that into the air. So I have no April Fool's jokes for you. Sorry. I've seen a couple of them floating around on Facebook. They're pretty funny. Yeah, no April Fool's jokes here. Okay, so my stuff is sorted on the Cross Stitch Planner app alphabetically, except for my new starts. So I'll be kind of scrolling up and down here. I suppose I don't need to do that for everything because I know some of these stitch counts that I've done, but we'll just do it anyway. Okay, first one up. So I have my stuff grouped by hundreds. So we're gonna start with the lowest amount of progress for the month and increase, like go through them until we get to the highest amount of progress for the month. So first one up, before I start that, let me just say some of these are, if I remember, if it's for Monopoly or whatever, I'll let you know. But temperature stitching, I do have a pause on that right now. So I do have a few temperature pieces in here. And I'll just kind of clarify what kind of game or plan it's for. First one up, this is one of my Monopoly pieces. This is Botanical Blackwork Stitch Along. This is from the Steady Thread on, this was their 2022 Sal. This is a mock-up of the outlines. And I'm supposed to work on this week, so I'll have to remember to keep this out. I have not worked on it yet, obviously. Well, no, not obviously. I've not worked on it yet, so I'm going to keep it out. But in the month of March, I did 100 stitches on it. And that is where I got to with it. So this still needs Monopoly, so I got to keep this out. Okay. But I got this block completed and started in on the leaf block that's next to it. So this one here is going to come up and around and probably end right about here, kind of like, yeah, however far this is from there, it'll end up there. But I did 100 stitches on it in the month of March. It's really pretty, I like it. I'm selecting various colors for, I'm doing 904 for the outlines, and I ended up doing 904 for these leaves here. And then I realized a lot of these larger blocks are nothing but leaf patterns. So I decided to do random colors for the leaves as well. But if it's a block like this with flowers and leaves in it, then I'm gonna pick a color for the flower and I'll do these leaves in 904 as well. So that's my plan with that. But yeah, 100 stitches for the month of March. Oh my God, I keep trying to drop it. Okay, so that is gonna go over there because I gotta put that back in my bag. Okay, next up, this one was a temperature piece. This is Hot Cocoa Gnome by cutebroidery.com. And let me pull it up on, I think this one I have in Pattern Keeper. Yeah. Nope. There we go. This is what it's going to look like without the back stitching. and I did 100 stitches on it. I think it was 100. Making sure it's not like 103 or anything. Yeah, 100 stitches on it in the month of March. I did a couple color changes with the reds. I didn't like how the reds were, so I changed them to more Christmassy reds that I felt they were Christmassy reds. Otherwise, the rest of the colors are the called for, and I'm doing it on a 16 count Aida, just some roll I picked up at Joann's when they were in business. So I did 100 stitches in March. I am now sitting at 2,276 stitches done out of 5,627. I am at 40.45% complete with the cross stitching. And I've been working down here in the cup of cocoa. So, but this project will be put on pause for a bit because this was a temperature piece, and I'm holding off on doing temperature stitching for right now until I kind of get back in a better groove with everything. But now that I'm not doing temperature stitching and I'm able to get a lot more stitches in on my stuff, really digging it. Okay. Next up is another temperature piece. This one is Reason Someone Smiles. And oh my God, I can't get it out of the bag. There we go. This is out of Cross Stitch for the Heart by Emma Congdon. I got this on Amazon. And the project I am working on, one moment, you'd think I would have it like marked, but I don't. There it is. So these projects don't have names, so I'm just calling it Reason Someone Smiles. It's set because it says, be the reason someone smiles today. And I'm doing this with the called for DMC on a 14 count white Aida. And I did 100 stitches on it. I just double check, make sure I got that right. Yes, 100 stitches on it down here. Oh, I was going to tell you how many stitches I've done for the entire year so far between January through March. I could do that now. January is still my highest stitching month, but the total stitch count for the entire year so far is 66,050 stitches. Not too shabby. Okay, next up is, I think this is a temperature piece too. This is Sweet Bee by Stitchrovia. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I got this pattern on Etsy. Emma Congdon, by the way, that one I just showed you, Emma Congdon is Stitchrovia. So she's Stitchrovia on Etsy, and her books are with her name. I'm doing this with the call for DMC, 2/2 full cross on a 28 count Jobelin. I want to say that the color is lamb's wool, but this seems a little darker than other pieces I've seen on the YouTube that have lamb's wool. Theirs are much lighter. So I'm not sure what color this is, but I did 100 stitches on it in the month of March, and they were up here. I got this half of this little banner done, and I started back stitching it. It's really cute. If I continue to hold off on temperature stitching, I think I want to try to figure out, I might start, like, as I finish some of my other plans, I might, like where I need to do a replacement piece, I might start replacing them with the temperature pieces, I think. One by one. Next up is another temperature piece, and this one is, okay, I was making sure. I think this is the last, yeah, this is the last project that got 100 stitches on it. And you're not really going to be able to see much progress on it because of the size of it. But this is Villa Lorna. This is by Stitching Moon Designs on Etsy. She also has a Flosstube channel. And I'm doing this with a Call for DMC 2/1 tent stitch half cross on a 28 count easy count Lugana. And I will just show you the area that I worked. Right there. Got 100 stitches on it. Trying to work in all these park threads, so very slow process, but here's everything I've done so far on it. So I am now sitting at 10,803 stitches completed out of 203,040. I am at 5.32%. So there's that. So that was the last of the 100s. Oh no, hang on, give me 1 second. My thread got caught in the zipper pull. There we go. Okay. Next up is 200s, and this one here is one of my Monopoly pieces. This is Catching Rays. This is my largest piece. It is charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. Stop it. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It is 1200 by 900. So it is over 1,000,000 stitches. This is my biggest piece. It has 134 colors. And this is my piece for go. So anytime a token passes go, I have to do 200 stitches on it, and if a token lands on go, then I do 400. So I'll show you where I worked first. And I'm doing this 1/1 full cross with a Call for DMC on a 32 count easy count Lugana. So do not panic when you see how small this fabric is, because I have it all folded up. But this is, maybe I should have done this a little bit bigger. Oh my God. Oh my God. There we go. So that's, I did 200 stitches on it in the month of March. And that's everything I've done so far. I was doing pages by checkerboard, but I decided I wanted to convert it into a diagonal. And so I got this diagonal completely done, and then I decided to do it like I'm doing Honeymoon Sunset, where I'm doing 2 diagonals at a time. So I'm like currently up in this little area right here. So I have 26,474 stitches completed out of 1,080,000, and I am at 2.45%. Little bit of a teaser. I do have plans for this to get this progressing, but those aren't going to go into effect until next year. So the fans of this piece, sorry. I mean, you'll see it whenever a piece passes go on Monopoly, but the plans for this won't go into effect until next year. But that will see more love in the coming year and a half. Okay, next up is Coffee Gnome. This is also from cutebrodery.com. This is one of my non-full coverage for 4,000 stitches, where I have 5, this is what it's gonna look like when it's done. I have 5 random non-full coverage pieces that I'm just rotating through. until I get 4,000 stitches on them. And once they hit 4,000, if they are close to being done, they will go into my work on till they're finished rotation. If they are not close to being done, then they will get set aside and they will get replaced with something else. So, coffee gnome. I'm doing this with the Call for DMC, 2 strands full cross on a 14 count Ada. Just a random tube I picked up off of the wall at the craft store. And this is where I'm at with it now. I did 200 stitches on this in the month of March. I do not have this one in Pattern Keeper, so I don't have a percentage. So that's where that one is. I'm gonna pretend like I have plans for this. The next time this comes out, I think I wanna try to work on more of the cross stitching. Maybe try to get like from like the hat brim down cross stitched, and then I'll maybe go back and back stitch it before I move on to the hat. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, next up is one of my temperature pieces. This is Ocean ABC by Design Works. Artwork is by Krista Hamrick. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm using everything that came in the kit, and this is a 14 count white Ada. And that is where I'm at with it. So I've been working in the G, and I did 200 stitches on this in the month of March. So once the G is, I mean, it's being set aside right now because it's a temperature piece, but whenever I do get back to this, once the G is completed, then I will move on to another block. I want to get the goals completed before stuff like this, I like doing it block by block because it's like a mini finish. And I like that. All right, next up is Unicorn. This is one of my Monopoly pieces. I need to set this one aside too. This is Unicorn by Teresa Winsler. So it came with 2. I have not started this one. I'm working on this one right now. And oh, that was it for the 200s. We're moving on to 300s. In the month of March, I did 300 stitches on this, and I'm using the Call for DMC, bunch of blends, bunch of solid colors, but all DMC, and I'm doing it 2/2 full cross on a 28 count Jobelin in the color Summer Sky by Witch Elf. And I want to say that all 300 stitches were like in this area right here. So when you're stitching on this, it's funny with this because when you're stitching on it, the colors just look like blobs. Like you're like, what is this mess? But when you're looking at it in the camera, it's like, oh, you can actually see the tree trunks. Oh, like over here, it's like, oh, they're trees. It just looks like blobby lines when you're looking at it in person up close. But this one is staying out of, or going into my bag because I need to work on it for Monopoly this week. Yeah. All right. Next up is another Monopoly piece. This is Stitchography from Fat Quarter Shop. This was to celebrate World Cross Stitch Day for 2021. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am doing some color changes. My mom had given me a bag of Etoile. So the DMC with the glittery crap in it. So I'm basically kind of looking at the piece, like at what color they're suggesting, because they call for 6 colors and I got like 10 in here. So I'm looking at what they're calling for, and then I'm kind of changing the colors a little bit. Like staying in the same, like if it's a blue color, I'm staying with the blue, I'm just picking a different shade. So I'm doing this 2/2 full cross on a 28 count white monoco. And I did 300 stitches on this in the month of March. I'm liking it. It's cute. Okay, next, I forget which one this is. Oh, you're gonna get a few sneak peeks because my Flosstube was on the 28th and today is the 1st. I have not filmed a new video since the 28th. So you're gonna get a few sneak peeks. Okay. So next up is the newest project in my full coverage to 1% rotation. If you are not familiar with that, before my whip parade, yeah, sometime late last year, I went through and I wrote down all of my full coverage pieces in Pattern Keeper that I had started and were not at 1% yet. I had like 18 of them, I believe, and I picked 5. Just randomly, I picked 5, and I'm just rotating through them. Once they hit 1%, they get replaced with something else. So this last, and I've been having you guys vote for the replacements. So this last one is the one that you guys just voted for. This is Toy Shop. It's a retired chart from Pain Free Crafts, so this is no longer available. It is designed by, artwork is by Steve Crisp, and it is 600 by 450. I don't know how many colors it has though. And let me just zoom into where I'm at. I am in that upper left-hand corner. I'm doing this with the Call for DMC 1/1 full cross on some fabric I picked up on AliExpress a couple years ago. I got a huge ass piece of it. Like this is the whole piece for the project. But it's like that's not the only piece I bought. Like I bought like a 4-yard amount. I do not know what store I bought it from. I have no clue. I couldn't tell you. I don't even have the AliExpress app on my phone anymore, so I really do not know. I think this might be a 30 count. I think. I don't even know. I just know that this project will fit on this fabric. Okay, so this is where I'm at with it now. I did decide to convert this into a diagonal. So I do not have the diagonal done yet, but I did 309 stitches on it in the month of March. I am now sitting at 809,000. No, 809 stitches completed out of 22. Oh my God. I am now sitting at 809 stitches completed out of 270,000. There we go. I am at 0.30%. I totally meant, now that I'm getting into these, I'm kind of remembering the past few months, I've been saying I started the month at this percent and now I'm at this percent. Couldn't tell you. I forgot to write all that stuff down this month. So, oh well. But yeah, so I still got a ways to go on that for getting it to 1%, but there we go. I'm gonna show this on my Flosstube on Thursdays. We'll put that down there. Okay, next up is one of my new start rotations. So I have 8 projects now. was supposed to be 5. It got increased to 9. It's down to 8. New starts that I'm rotating through and working on them until they get 3,000 stitches, or in like the case of the Friends frame, until it got done. So this is a small kit from Artiste called Sugar Skull. It was designed by Cooler Design Studio. And I'm using everything that came in the kit. So this is a 14 count white Aida. And this is where I've gotten to so far. In the month of March, I did 304 stitches. Now that I'm like getting into some of the details and stuff, I'm enjoying it a lot more. So I think that's like, as this gets pulled out, I think I'll keep doing that. Like that little corner up here is like done. And so whenever this comes out again, I will probably finish the stitching in this flower and then maybe work around it so I can do the back stitching on it so you can see it a lot better. It's like that's that flower right there. So I think I'll probably end up doing that. All right. Next up is the last one in the 300s, and this is another one in my new start rotation. This is Spring at Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. And I am not doing it like this. I'm going to do it like this. And I did a start in a corner that I normally do not do. I am in the bottom right corner because of how like this here only goes across the 2 squares, right? So, but I'm doing 3. I don't need the entire piece of fabric for this project, so I don't want to waste it. So I was like, well, I need to start in a corner so that I don't waste my fabric. So I figured out, well, if I just start in the bottom corner, then no, I'm in the bottom left corner. Did I say bottom right? If I did, I meant bottom left. I'm down here. I was like, well, if I start in a bottom corner, then I don't have to worry about making sure I started high enough, or maybe I do need the whole piece. I don't remember now. I just know I started in the bottom corner for a reason. But now I don't remember if this needs the entire piece of fabric or not. Okay, I'm doing it with the DMC that they suggested instead of the silks, and I'm doing it 2 strands full cross on a 20 count Aida in the color Time Worn. This was a fabric of the month from March of 2023 by Mystic Fabrics, and that is where it's at. I did 300 stitches on this in March. So I'll just kind of keep plugging away bit by bit whenever this gets pulled out. I do not believe that I will even have that first block done by the time its new start, like 3,000 stitch rotation is done. This is going to be a long ass project. Okay, so that is it for the 300s. Okay, next up is the 400s, and first one up is going to be Grinch, Gnome and Company. This is part of my work on till it's finished rotation. So I have basically 2 projects that I'm alternating back and forth between now that I changed my plans again. I have 2 projects that I am alternating back and forth, and I just keep rotating through them until they're finished. So Calendar Girls February was one. This is the other one. And then when I film my Flosstube on Thursday, I'll show you the one that's going to be the new back and forth with this piece. Let me just find it on Pattern Keeper. Here it is. So stop it. Grinch, Gnome and Company. This is by Maya Stitch on Etsy. That's without the back stitching. Okay, hang on. Let me turn off. There we go. Now it's locked. Ha ha, I win. Okay, I'm doing this with a Call for DMC 2/2 full cross on a 28 count white Monaco. And I have not worked on it yet this week, so this is what it looked like when you saw my Flosstube last. I did, oh, hang on, let me find it on here. Grinch, there it is. I did 425 stitches on it in the month of March. I am sitting at 3,774 stitches done out of 5,742. I am at 68.97% complete with the cross stitches. So I will keep working on this every other week until it's done. I think my plan for this week, so I have not worked on this yet. I think my plan for this week is going to be to maybe try to finish back, whoopsies, finish back stitching the Grinch gnome. And then work on Cindy Lou to finish it off. Okay. Next up is one of my Monopoly pieces. This is Checking the List. Let me find it. Checking the List. Okay. This is from Charting Creations. Artwork is by Marcelo Corti. And it is, let me find the size. It is 280 by 419. It has 80 colors in it. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I really, really love this piece so much. I actually have 3 of these pieces, but I've only started 1. Okay. So in the month, I'm doing this 1/1. Wait, hold on. I gotta say it in a certain order, then I forget stuff. I'm doing this with the Call for DMC 1/1 full cross on a, I want to say this is a 28 count easy count Lugana. And I did 400 stitches on it in the month of March. Oh look, I didn't even notice this. You can actually see the picture frame coming in right here. From the snowman, oh, upper left-hand corner start, obviously. And I'm doing it on a diagonal. So the next time a piece lands on this Monopoly property, I will work on continuing to finish the diagonal. And then I think I'll go into the 2 diagonal thing. I think I'm kind of digging how you can see more stuff as this goes. I do 20 stitch wide diagonals already. But I think I'll bump it up and do 2 diagonals at a time so you see more stuffs. But I am currently sitting at 4,819 stitches completed. Out of 117,320, I am at 4.11%. That's pretty cool. I didn't even notice that was actually, I was looking before when I was working, I was like, what are these dark lines? But now that I'm just like looking at it in the camera, it's a picture frame. Nifty. Okay. All right, next up is this one. I know what piece it is. I was just trying to think of what rotation it's in. I think this is in my full coverage to 1% rotation. It's Coming to Room. I gotta find it on here. Or this is a New Start rotation. Oh, which one is it? Where is it? I'm looking for it on Pattern Keeper. Here it is. So this is Coming to Room by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artworks by Jan Patrick Kresny. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am in the upper left-hand corner right now. God, this is going to look so cool when it's done. I'm excited. I got the max color version, and this is 875 by 626, and it has 239 colors. Hang on, I'm getting out of frame for a second because I just realized, okay, this is my new start rate. No. This isn't my full coverage to 1% rotation. I just realized the board that I have those focus pieces on is the one sitting like at the top where I can actually see it. And if I had just leaned over, I could see which, if it was in that full coverage spot. It is. So this is my full coverage to 1% rotation. I'm doing this with the Call for DMC 1/1 full cross on that China fabric that I got from AliExpress. And this is where I got to with it so far. Coming to Room. I did 403 stitches on it in the month of March. I am now sitting at 1,620 stitches completed out of 547,750. I am at 0.30%. So. There's that. Okay, next up is one of my Monopoly pieces, and this is Halloween Calendar by Tiny Modernist. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I am doing the Called for DMC 2/2 full cross. Let me find it on Pattern Keeper because I do have it in there. Okay. 2/2 full cross on a 28 count Lugana in the color Dusk by Live and Die LA. I really like this fabric. It is so pretty. It's a very pretty mottled purple. And that is where I'm at with it right now. I did 400 stitches on it in the month of March. I don't know if you can see the oh, there we go. See, that's the purple. It's very pretty. It looks gray when I hold it up close, but that's the purple. I am currently sitting at 1,200 stitches completed out of 16,842. I am at 7.13% complete. There is a little bit of back stitching, I believe. There's like there's a spider web, day 27. Yeah, so there's a little bit, I was just making sure it wasn't like X's, that spider web, and it's not. So there is a little bit of back stitching in this, but not a whole lot. Okay. Next up is another Monopoly piece. This is Mother Nature Christmas, and it is from the Just Cross Stitch magazine from 2023. That is what she's going to look like when she's done. It is designed by I want to say Perry Haiti. Who is Stitchora on Etsy. I know that much. I know that on Etsy she goes by Stitchora. But Mother Nature Christmas, I'm doing with the Call for DMC 2/2 full cross on a 28 count tea-dyed Monaco. And that is where I'm at with her now. I did 400 stitches on her in the month of March. So I do know that the next time she gets landed on in Monopoly, I will come back and finish the stitches that kind of go along the lantern over here so that I can backstitch the lantern, because that lantern is going to look even better once it's backstitched. So that's where I'm at with her. Aw, dropped my bag. Aw, now my hair's stuck in my lip gloss. Okay. Next up is going to be Mother Nature Halloween. Another piece from, there was a whole series like all year long from Just Cross Stitch Magazine. So this was the Halloween one. I was trying to see if I had it. Oh, I think my spring piece is the one that has the name of the person. But that is Mother Nature Halloween. So cool. And same thing, call for DMC, 2/2 full cross on a 28 count tea-dyed Monaco. And I did 400 stitches on her in the month of March. And basically, I want to say that the hat is almost completely backstitched. Almost. I did a lot of the cross stitching in the hat. I want to say the cross stitching is completely done up here. I just need to kind of fill this in right here, and then I can actually finish cross stitching the hat. There's like around the brim. I was making sure there's not like any white back stitching in it. No. So once I do the few stitches that are like of her forehead, I'll be able to go back and finish back stitching her hat. So that'll be good. Okay. Did I say I did 400 on that? I did 400 on that, if I didn't say that. I think I did, though. Okay, next up is, I want to say this is a, yes, this is another piece in my full coverage to 1% rotation. This is Winter Cookie Party. I got the Max Color version from Heaven and Earth Designs, charted by Amy Stewart. Charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Amy Stewart. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's 700 by 501. It has 240 colors. And I'm doing it 1/1 full cross with the call for DMC on a, I think this is a 28 count easy count Lugana. And look at that cookie. That is where I'm at with it right now. Look at that cookie coming in. It looks good. Now that like I've got it filled in more, I'm like, okay, this is, because I'm not gonna lie, when I was first doing this, I was like, man, this is looking kind of weird. But it looks a lot better now. I did 403 stitches on it in the month of March. I am now sitting at 1,053 stitches out of 350,700. I am at 0.30%. Wrong bag. There we go. Okay. Next up is Year of Gnomes June, and this is from Cross Stitch for Everyone. I got this on Etsy, but I did see a post from Missy, who is the designer behind Cross Stitch for Everyone. Something happened with her Etsy shop. I think Etsy closed her shop down for some reason. I don't know why. I don't remember what happened. But she did say, if you find her on Facebook, she's Cross Stitch for Everyone on Facebook. She does have a website, but I do not recall what it is. But yeah. I don't remember. I don't think it's crossstitchforeveryone.com. But if you find her on Facebook, she has a website linked on there. But this is the Gnomes, I think now it's called Gnome a Month series. When I bought it, it was Year of Gnomes. And this is the June Gnome. Probably help if I showed what it looked like, right? So this is part of my non-full coverage for 4,000 stitches rotation. And I'm doing it with the Call for DMC 1/1 full cross on a 28 count white Monaco. And in the month of March, that's where I'm at with it now. In the month of March, I did 404 stitches on it. I am now sitting at 1,370 stitches completed out of 4,672. I am at 29.32%. So this is a piece, like I was telling you, when the whip hits its goal, I'll figure out what to do. With the stitches I was already started at, when I get my 4,000 stitches, there's only, I think I started off at like 500. There's 4,600 stitches. I want to do 4,000. So doing 4,000 on this when I was already at 500, that would be 4,500 stitches out of 4,600. So I will likely just go over to get this done, so it'll only be 100 stitches. So, but that's where I'm at with it right now. 29.32%. I've been working up in the rainbow up here, mostly, trying to get that done. Okay. Next up is, I want to say we're getting into 500s now. Let me find it on my list just to make sure. Yes. So we're done with the 400s. We're getting into the whips that have 500 stitches for the month. This is one of my Monopoly pieces. This is Dreaming of Autumn Leaves by Rosewood Manor. I think this is going to be another sneaky peek. Yes, another sneak peek for you. Dreaming of Autumn Leaves by Rosewood Manor. And this piece calls for Weeks Dye Works floss. I was trying to think of what it is. So I'm using the Call for floss, which is all Weeks Dye Works, and I'm doing it 2/2 full cross, unless it's back stitching, on a 32 count cream. Is it a Jobelin? Lugana. 32 count cream Lugana. And this is where I'm at with it right now. So I did 500 stitches on it in March. Mostly all in this area right here. So I'll just keep plugging away at it whenever free. Honestly, I'm surprised I've had this much stitching. This year so far, I've put in 1,000 stitches. I'm not telling you the total yearly stitch count, except on a couple pieces. But this one here, I just want to say, this was my free parking piece, right? I've already done 1,000 stitches on this year from having it on free parking, and I'm kind of surprised because usually when I actually play Monopoly, hardly anyone ever lands on free parking. And then I also have stitches assigned to it for luxury tax and income tax. Hardly anybody ever lands on those when I play in real life. So I'm kind of surprised that it's been landed on as much as it has. So that's kind of cool. Okay, next up is part of my non-full coverage to 4,000. This is Mermaids of the Season. This will be another sneak peek for you. And when I say sneak peek, I mean, like, I'm going to be showing some of these on Thursday. Oh, that reminds me. That needs to go down here. I think there's a couple pieces I was supposed to keep out. All right, so Mermaids of the Season. Let me find my cover photo that has all of them. Here it is. This is from Bella Filipina. This was a collaboration with Bella Filipina and Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. This was their sale from 2023. And that is what they're gonna look like when they're done. So 4,000 stitches. I decided when I was working on the first 1,000 that I wanted to do 1,000 stitches in each mermaid block. So I had already done 1,000 on the summer one, and so I decided to go down to the winter one. So this will be the first time that you're seeing the winter, what I've been able to do for winter. I'm doing it with the called for everything 2/2 full cross on a 28 count Lugana in the color Singing in the Rain by Fiberlicious. So I did 500 stitches on this. Got in some of the border because I had to bring this border down. So what I did, hang on, let me talk about this for a minute. I'll talk about it in my Flosstube too, but what I did was I did half stitches and then I did a full cross. There was like 4, and then on the pattern was a grid line. So I did a full cross. Then I did 9 half stitches, and then the 10th stitch was a full cross. That way I was able to go, okay, I was able to look at the pattern and be like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks down is where this starts. So I was able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then count over. But yeah, 500 stitches on winter. And then let me go ahead and show you. There we go. So obviously my first 1,000 stitches was in the summer. And when I get my 1,000 stitches done in winter, I'll probably come up and maybe do spring, and then I'll end on the autumn one for the final 1,000. But yeah, all the call for DMC, Kryneck, and beads on that. Oh, this needs to go on there. Okay, next up is another sneak peek. I got quite a bit of stitching done before, between Friday and last night. This is part of my New Start rotation. This is Spicy Disaster. It's a Leisure Arts kit. It says, I'm not a hot mess, I'm a spicy disaster. And I'm using, oh my God, I gotta yawn again. Whew. Okay, I'm using everything that came in a kit. I'm doing it 2 strands full cross, whatever it says, on a 14 count white Aida, and I did 502 stitches on it. So I almost have the, no, I have the kitty completely cross stitched. These 2 blank lines here are where like stems are gonna go. And then I back stitched the cat's body because he was looking a little weird with no back stitching. So I back stitched his entire body wherever it said to back stitch. And so I still have to do his tail, but I wanted to wait until I got more of the cross stitching in around there. But I decided to come up here and work on this little flower section up here. So 502 stitches on it in March. This is another piece that I think, like I said, it's a New Start rotation. I think this will be a finish before I hit 3,000. I think. Okay, it does come with a hoop, but I'm just stitching it in hand because I've noticed that when I use a hoop, it hurts my wrist. It does not hurt my wrist as much. Like, actually, I have to be stitching for like all day doing absolutely nothing else. And if I do that, then like maybe hour 12 is when my wrist starts hurting when I stitch in hand. If I'm using a hoop, I would use it for a few hours and I can start feeling like a lot of pain in my wrist. So next up, so I just stitch everything in hand now. Next up is Hive Rules. This is by Primrose Cottage Stitches, designed by Lindsay Waite. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm using the Call for DMC 2/2 full cross on a 28 count white Monaco. No, white Jobelin. And in the month of March, I did 700 stitches on this. 700, right? 5 rules. Yes, 700 stitches on it. I finished this section right here and went down to this one there. That stuff was already done. But yeah. All right. Next, now we're getting into thousands. Next up is part of my 1%. Yes, this is part of my 1% rotation. This is Creekview Cottages by the Cross Stitch Studio. Where is it? Here it be. Okay, Creekview Cottages. Artwork is it's a piece by the Digital Artwork Company. It is 825 by 825. It has 139 colors. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this for the Call for DMC 2/1 half cross on a 28 count easy count Lugana. And I did, okay, just double checking, make sure I didn't go over by a couple stitches or something. Okay, in the month of March, I did 1,000 stitches. No real rhyme or reason to what I'm doing right now, but I did 1,000 stitches on it. I am now sitting at 2,414 stitches completed out of 680,625. I am at 0.35% complete. I'm working in a lot of tree right now. Yay. Yay, so much fun. Boring ass background. All right. Next up is, this was a piece in my New Start rotation, but I got my goal completed on it, so this is now basically done for the year. You're not going to see this again until next year because I have a shit ton of whips, and so I'm likely not going to use this as a replacement piece for anything because I have a lot of other whips to pick from when something needs to be replaced. This is Daytonite North America. It is a retired chart from Pain Free Crafts. Artwork is by Lars Stewart. It is 650 by 464. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am in the upper left-hand corner, and my goal was to get it to 1%. I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 28 count easy count Lugana, and here we go. So in the month of March, I did 1,100 stitches on it. For the entire year so far, I've done 1,512. And I am now sitting at 3,012 stitches completed out of 301,600. I am at 1.00%. So there's that one. I have like over 200 projects started. I have probably close to 100 more that I could start. So I have a lot of stuff to pick from. So once I hit a goal, I kind of push it to the side and try to show some of the other stuff some love. Okay, next up is Cake Shop. This is a retired chart from Pain Free Crafts. I want to say this is in the New Start rotation. Cake Shop. Like I said, Retired Chart from Pain Free Crafts. It is designed by Steve Crisp. It is 400, or nope, it's 600 by 450. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. Cake Shop. Yeah, I don't see it there. So this is part of the New Start rotation. So the goal for this is to get 3,000 stitches on it. And then it will get put away. I'm doing it 1/1 full cross with the call for DMC on that China fabric. And this is where I'm at with it right now. In March, I did 1,000 stitches on it. So I am now sitting at 1,732 stitches completed out of 270,000. I am at 0.64%. So, okay, final two. This one was my whip of shame for the month of March. And this is, I think the official name is Muppet on Indian Carpet, but I'm calling it Cat on Indian Carpet. It is an old chart from Designs for the Needle, designed by Leslie Ann Ivory. I want to say she actually has some artwork on the Heaven and Earth website. But that's what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm using everything that came in the kit. I've had this kit since like the 1900s, 1990s, I want to say. And in the month of March, so with the Whip of Shame, my goal is to do about 100 stitches a day to total however many days are in the month times 100. So March, the goal was 3,100 stitches. And that is what I did. So this got 3,100 stitches on it in March. So I got the rug worked down to the bottom corner over here. I got the cat's paw almost completed. It just has a few stitches here that need to be put in. And I started working on its little face, so you can see an eye coming in and you can see its little nose coming in. Woo. So that was my Whip of Shame for the month of March. And then my final project is Honeymoon Sunset. My favorite, your favorite, everyone's favorite. Well, it might not be your favorite. It's my favorite. I know it's a lot of people's favorites. So this is charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. The 1 second pattern keeper froze up. There we go. It is designed, the artwork is by Abraham Hunter. And it is 869 by 649. It has 133 colors. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. So pretty. So this is staying out all year. This is one of my focus pieces, like focus. I want to get this to 50% by the end of the year. So my goal for March was to get it to 41%, and then anything after that would go towards my April goal. So my April goal for this is going to be to get it to 42%. Like if all hell starts breaking loose and the apocalypse comes and chaos ensues, I want to at least just get this to 42% in April, which is very doable because I am way past 41%. Okay, so I am going to show you, this is another sneaky peek because I worked on this over the weekend. I'm going to show you the half of the project I'm working on, then I'll open it up and show the whole thing. Yeah, okay. So I'll just show you, actually no, we'll do it like, okay. let me give you numbers first. I was trying to think because I'm going to show this again in 2 days and show you where I worked. So, okay. In the month of, okay, I'm going to show you the half I'm working on because I got to tell you my total. Where is it? There it is. Okay. In the month of March, I did 6,778 stitches. I'm going to kind of hold it back a little bit here and then I'll bring it in. So that's the area that I'm focusing on. So I was able to get this diagonal completed, right? Which I showed in my last Flosstube. That's not new. That's all new though. You didn't see that before. That's all new. I'll tell you those numbers on Thursday in the full Flosstube. But yeah, so I'm doing 2 diagonals at a time. So 40, basically the diagonal is 40 stitches wide because I have my diagonal set at 20 stitches wide and I'm doing 2 at a time. I'm doing this 2 over, with a call for DMC, 2 over 1, half cross on a 25 count, easy count Lugana. But yeah, that looks so good. So I am sitting at, let me give you these numbers and then I'll hold this up. I am sitting at 235,914 stitches completed. Yeah, 235,914 stitches completed out of 563,981. I am at 41.83%. That's what I was saying, like 41.83%. That's only going to be like another, I think I'll hit 42% when I work on it next week. So here we go. Here's the whole thing. There we go. Yeah. There's the whole thing. So this is the tree from hell. That is such a pain in the ass to work on, but it looks really, really good. It's really good. I have enabled a lot of people to work on this, and almost all of them have started in the upper left-hand corner. And all of them that started in the upper left-hand corner have been like, oh my God, this tree is terrible. Like, they know it looks good, but they're like, oh my God, working on this tree is terrible. I'm like, I know. Why do you think I complain about it? Then going down to the bottom corner. I've worked to all 4 corners. I've worked across the top. This is the center. There's the sailboat coming in. Then here's the bottom corner. There's the house with the smoke and the gazebo. The lighthouse is coming in. It's all looking really, really good. There's the sky with the birds. So yeah. So I still have all the faith in myself that I will get this to 50% by the end of the year. And if I can do that, then I have plans for this piece over the next few years. If I can stick to my goal of 50% by the end of the year, then I've got plans mapped out for this thing. All right, that's all my whips for the month of March. So my plans for the month of April is going to be to keep Honeymoon Sunset out and work on it every single week, regardless of if I hit my goal or, you know, whenever I hit my goal, keep pushing forward with it. That way, if there is a week in the future where I'm like getting a very small amount of stitches or no stitches on it, it's okay because I am currently ahead of schedule. And then keep doing Monopoly. I've been doing a new round of Monopoly every other week. So this coming week, if you're watching this and you're stitching along with it, This coming week will be a new round of Monopoly, and full coverage to 1% and non-full coverage to 4,000 are still in play, along with the new start rotation. Start my new whip a shame for the month of April. I'll start stitching on that today, and I'm liking what I'm doing so far. I've been doing it for a couple weeks now. I'm liking how I'm doing it so far, so we're gonna stick with this for now. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. If you like what you had to see and you're not already subscribed, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And I think that's all I got today. So take care, happy stitching, get a lot of stitches in, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.